I suggested some sort of like fighting or like hero element to the movie, but the fight club I think came from a giant whiteboard where we just like wrote random things on the wall, like lots of blood, explosion, knitting, like random things. And I think I remember us just sort of coming to Fight Club at a certain point.
Yeah. And I think it got more fighty as it went on.
It was amazing. The last time I was here was with the short film for Shiva Baby, which was 5 years ago. And it was like a completely different experience because it was like my first time at a festival and I was just like meeting so many other filmmakers. So to come back with this and to have Claudette like introduce it at the Paramount on Saturday night was crazy and surreal and so wonderful to be able to like have the opportunity to do it. Because after 2020, I was like, I don't know if I'm ever going to go back to South by. And now we're here, so it's very special. But Rachel was here last year with Bodies, and I was like emotionally here with you, I feel like, from a distance.
No, but it's a different feeling to be, I think, for the full circle of Shiva Baby, and then also to all be here together, like with this cast. I feel like you were saying earlier, how it's like when we all got to see the movie, we all had to kind of see it on our own separately, and to watch it together, like, was really special.
It's very cathartic and, I don't know, emotional and sweet.
My hand really hurts still because Ayo and I were gripping each other so hard through the whole screening, like massage. I mean, I don't have any muscles here anymore. It's really nice.
Okay, I don't have any muscles either. Oh.
I think that I suggested some sort of like fighting or like hero element to the movie, but the fight club I think came from a giant whiteboard where we just like wrote random things on the wall, like lots of blood, explosion, knitting, like random things. And I think I remember us just sort of coming to Fight Club at a certain point.
And I think it got more fighty as it went on. Yeah. It was the more we were, and the big finale sequence honestly wasn't there till like a year before, or like a couple months before. We had already had our studio, and before that was even in
It was like 5 years after we'd started writing it. We were like, everyone's gonna fight like crazy. I think the fighting became real once we were shooting, especially because then we realized like, oh, if we're gonna do a movie about a fight club, like these girls actually have to fight, and we need to like honor that concept as opposed to, I don't know, just trying to like cut around it and like making it fun. We wanted it to look real, so. It does, and like it's kind of crazy that we made it. I'm still like pinching myself, being like, who let this, you know, queer sex comedy action movie like on screen? And it's Orion is the answer, and the incredible studio that made this and let us do it on the budget that we did. It does feel rare, and it doesn't feel real. Do you know what I mean?
Last night I was literally like, who the hell let this happen? This is crazy. Like in the room, I was watching the jokes and I was like, who gave us what? They should take back the money. No, it's just crazy because you're like, it's wild that we got away with this, and I'm so grateful that people believed, that Orion and Alana and everyone there believed in us and let us tell the story.
Well, we had a fight choreographer, stunt coordinator, excuse me, named Devin, who wore incredible cowboy hats and was just a genius. But I think a lot of our like coming together as a group like happened in those camps. A lot of us had to learn the basics for sure. I will say myself and me and Kai were paired up a lot because we had the longest limbs, and then we like didn't do any fights together. But I think that somebody who could speak to this very well would be Ruby, because Ruby showed up and I was like, have I moved my body? But Ruby has a lot of experience and was just like so good and cool. So I don't know if you want to speak on that.
Yeah, I like doing stunts now. I've been doing it for a while now, but I think it was still, I don't know, it was still really hard, and definitely we went through all of that together. We all had to throw ourselves on the ground over and over.
You got thrown across a gym 15
I was on a
times.
wire. I totally forgot about that. That was fun.
Yeah. But it's also like, it was interesting, I think, choreographing like how the movement changes throughout the movie too.
Totally. Yeah, watching ourselves get better and like trying to,
And I think also just be more silly with it. Like by the time I won't give anything away, but in a stunt scene that's very important, I remember like I held Summer like a bazooka, and you then kicked your legs around in a circle, and we sort of like created our own dynamics. We were given some free reign, and so I think the bloopers of that is probably really hilarious
There's probably
too.
a lot of footage of us
Being nuts.
doing shit like that.
I remember there's a scene where Emma handed me the Yellow Pages book, and I was like, "What is this? Like, I've never seen this." But no, it took me back to like my early childhood in the early 2000s of like Razor phones, and a lot of the music is like what we all grew up with. So I think what's cool about this movie is it gives us sort of like a blast from the past. And there is that sort of nostalgic element to it, but at the same time, it talks about themes that we're still dealing with in schools today with young people.
I think the tone of this movie is so specific, and I think like those things that feel anachronistic or feel like very idiosyncratic just all add to the overall like feeling of the movie, which is like, hey, just like keep up, you know, like keep up. We're here and we're having fun, and like keep up what you get this time. Like that's what you get this time. Like have a second watch, see what you get the next time. Yeah.
I think like writing with Rachel just like gave me the opportunity to write freely. Like Rachel's style of humor is so campy and so absurd and so ridiculous. I just think like as a storyteller, as a creative, like it's always so fun to do something completely different and challenge yourself and collaborate with like a comedic genius like Rachel and then Io and this whole cast. Like it just was like a fun, different opportunity. I'd hope to like continue to do different things.
I totally agree. Like we had so much fun going out there, and then I think we could almost get away with anything because we have the best actors ever who were grounding everything. Like we were talking earlier about when we saw Havana's tape and the sincerity, like anyone could play that, like I'm a crazy girl, I'm crazy, like you feel for her and you care about her, and it's so real, but it's still hilarious. And it's like every single person does that with their character, where it's like Io, the things we had to justify, like it's like, and then you pull out improv. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like the pastor monologue improvised, the whole pastor monologue. Everyone brings so much. Like Miles committed, like he's in an action film, you know, like
when Miles submitted his tape, you were like, he's in full-on cop drama.
No, he's in
like,
I Am Legend.
You were like,
He is in
he's giving I Am Legend. Yeah.
And it's so real. Everyone has so many amazing and like Ruby with the when you reveal, I'm giving away the whole movie. Anyways, everyone's amazing.
I think all you need to do is look at the mascot, and then you feel pretty much in the world. I think there was like pretty key triggers around the space at any given moment. And I think all of our characters arguably came from a relatively grounded place in order to make the comedy work. So in the absurd world and with that sort of like emotional undertone, I felt like it was hard to leave the world, honestly. And it was such an expansive sort of world building that anything kind of went, which I've never had that experience before. Like you could say something, I feel like I could have spoken in a British accent one day and like it may have worked, which I think is just really powerful.
I had a crush on you because you're sometimes British.
God damn it. You should have told me.